we are going to be featuring him against NoinSung. NoinSung, a player that I have never casted before. I'm very unfamiliar with this player, so I'm ready to be introduced. Now, for some context, the winner of this series plays against Dark, and the winner of that series plays against Classic. So because we initially casted Classic, I do want to follow this road all the way to there, and at least we have a bunch of matches lined up for us, so we don't have to like be like insecure or be like nervous about like catching like a fresh series or finding some other players and jumping around. And we have a road ahead of us that we can walk. And here we go, spawning in the top left hand corner of a golden aura. We have the Chinese Zerg player representing CranKy Gaming. It is Hyperion. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have his opponent. We have someone who I am very unfamiliar with, but we have the Korean Terran player, currently teamless. It is NoinSung. And I'll be honest, for NoinSung to take a game of Hyperion, that is impressive. That is a very impressive result already here. Again, Hyperion, I think nowadays, I believe he's more of a managerial role for DKZ, for CranKy Gaming, and I think he's been casting a little bit more as well. But he is still an amazing player. He's still one to keep an eye on and to respect as a player as well. So, yeah, for NoinSung to take a game, I'm curious. I'm curious as to how that happened. I'm curious as to what he can bring to the table. Mech? I mean, they sounded like short games, so I'm imagining something different. We'll see. ZvT scouts coming out, racks expand here from our Terran player, everything looking as it should. Catch him in the chat. Ducks, oh, the ducks, Papi, the ducks. Quack. Likewise, our Zerg player here, Hyperion, going for a hatch gas pool. I want to say that Hyperion got some really impressive. Did he beat Gumiho relatively recently? I remember seeing that Hyperion was able to pop off every now and then, kind of like Firefly, where he's able to just take down a big name and a big player out of nowhere. Which is why I have a lot of respect for Hyperion, just because he may not be as consistent as some of these other players like from China, like Jeshi or like Firefly. He still gets some damn good results. He still does spike up and yeah, take down some big names. Here we go, the Reaper does dive into the main base. Oh, forces a bit of an overreaction here out of Hyperion. Disrupts the economy in the main. As Reaper does dip on out of there. And I'm quickly double checking that result that I saw from Hyperion. Who did he take down? I know it was someone big. Double checking, Bobby. Double checking. Was it a Terran player? Was it a Protoss? I'm not seeing anything. I'm not seeing anything yet, but regardless, we are getting into this, and yeah, I'm also excited to be introduced to NoinSung. Again, when it comes to these up and coming, oh no! Am I excited? Sorry, I was looking at the Wikipedia page of Hyperion, so even though the screen was here, I actually wasn't looking at what I was seeing, and now I am, and now I regret it. I was like, yo, they were fast games. It's not gonna be mech papi, right? It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be everything as 3 factories. Here we go. Hellions, soon to be Cyclones on the way. There is Cyclone Speed. I believe that is not Cyclonic. Hurricane Thrusters. That's it. Hurricane Thrusters in production for NoinSung. And this is at least a more active mech style, rushing into a more battle mech composition, a Ferrari mech composition, if you will. Yeah, this is gonna be interesting, and I wonder how Hyperion decides to deal with this. Now, for those wondering, we have seen a lot of Zerg players go Ling Hydra. Go Ling Hydra to, speed-wise, at least keep up with this mobile army and to eventually lock it down with a couple of Infestors as well to land those Fungals. Again, there was a buff to Infestors, a buff and a nerf, right, where Fungal growth deals less damage, but you do start with plenty of energy to actually land a Fungal growth once the Infestor does spawn out, does hatch from those eggs. So they may do less damage, but it's less about the damage and more about the utility that the Fungal growth does provide. As the Overlord dips in, confirms the Cyclones, confirms the additional factories as well. So Hyperion is fully aware of what is going on. Back at home, we have a Roach Warren on the way. And yeah, okay, so instead of Ling Hydra, it is going to be Ling Roach from Hyperion. But the army is already moving out across the map. What do we have to defend? We have 9 queens, which that's a lot of queens. We should be able to hold the line. The Cyclones will complicate things, but only 2 Cyclones rock up for now. The third appears. The Lings have to respect these Hellions. As the Queens are able to go toe-to-toe with this army. Clutch Transfuses. Good control so far out of Hyperion, pulling back some of those weakened Queens. Does need to break those lock-ons. And as he chips away at those Hellions, the Lings are getting ready to dive on forward on top of those Cyclones. Oh, but the Queens are going down. Things are escalating out of control. The Queens fall one after the other. Every single Queen falls. The Lings, they try to get us around going, well, we have Hellions to support, and the Lings go down, and this may just be it. As NoinSung breaks into that third base, the boys are pulled into Hellions as well. The last Hellion finally goes down, but the Cyclones are getting out of control, and it looks like NoinSung has done it. GG gets called. NoinSung takes the series 2-1, advancing on to face Dark. GG. GG, well played. And I like this build on Golden Ore specifically. For those wondering, Golden Ore, the map that we just played on, has a very short rush distance by ground. So if you're going for an all-in like this, if you're being very aggressive and very committed, you can do so that much more intensely here, because it doesn't take too long at all to actually get in the face of your opponent and to break on forward. GG, well played. Again, Hyperion, he just realized what was happening a little bit too late. The Roach Warren was a little bit too late. Initially, he was doing well with his Queens, like holding the line. But as we saw, eventually, Cyclones, they were able to just do enough damage, able to break through that defensive line of Queens, and there was nothing left behind it. I do also think that Hyperion was intentionally not making Lings to like save lava for Roaches instead, and he was maybe a little bit too greedy in doing so, as he needed an army then and there to deal with that force. GG, congratulations. Congratulations to NoinSung. Again, a really solid win here from him. And now he advances on to face off against Dark.